The Biden administration has slammed South Africa for filing an application at the International Court of Justice to initiate proceedings to declare that Jerusalem was violating its obligations under the 1948 Genocide Convention and its war against Hamas following the terrorist group's murderous attacks in Gaza. South Africa's argument, according to U.S. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby, is meritless, counterproductive, and completely devoid of any factual basis. This is not the first time the U.S. officials have objected to the genocide claim leveled against Israel since the war began. In November, Kirby lashed out at anti-Israel campaigners who accused Israel of committing genocide in Gaza. To discuss this further, we are joined by Professor Andre Thomashausen, that's a UNISA Professor Emeritus of International Law. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, good afternoon, listeners.
Good afternoon. Now, how significant is this condemnation by the United States, and does it hold any legal weight?
Well, we are dealing with a thing called the Genocide Convention, which came into being at the end of World War II in 1949, when people were still completely shocked by what happened under the Nazi regime, the Holocaust in Germany, where there was a declared official policy to destroy the Jewish people, and about 6 million of them lost their lives in the most gruesome manners of extermination, in gas chambers, for instance. So to try and align all nations in the world to assure each other that something like that should never happen again, the Genocide Convention came into being. And the central piece of the Genocide Convention is that evil acts, war crimes, to qualify as an accusation under the Genocide Convention, must have been committed with what is called a genocidal intent, with the intent to destroy a people. And this is where I think the criticism of the United States drives right in by saying, obviously, there may have been war crimes in this latest spate of use of force in Gaza, but nobody had an intent to destroy the Palestinian people as such. There are over 7 million Palestinians, 2 million of which live in Israel as Israeli citizens and perfectly integrated citizens, and about 3 million live in the West Bank, where they are governed by the Palestine Authority, and only about 2 million live in this enclave called Gaza, where a very radical fundamentalist Islamist movement called Hamas has taken over the administration, much against the will of the actual Palestine Authority. So if Israel has sworn to destroy Hamas, it doesn't mean that it said we will destroy the Palestinian people.
Now, let's, of course, consider the potential impact this particular application could have on the diplomatic relations between South Africa and also the United Nations countries, particularly the United States.
Well, the United States have publicly voiced their displeasure. Israel has, of course, accused South Africa of having fueled the conflict, of having given ammunition to the Hamas propaganda. But there are definitely there are countries around this globe that feel a great empathy with what is happening in Gaza, that feel a lot of pain for the many people that have lost their lives in Gaza in the past 2 months. Turkey and Malaysia, for instance, have indicated that they will possibly enjoin South Africa's action before the International Court of Justice, the World Court. There may be Zimbabwe and maybe others that might want to join South Africa's action before the International Court of Justice.
Now, talking about joining South Africa, do you think that South Africa, the Committee of Nations, has effective influence to muster the support of other countries, particularly world powers, in this particular quest?
No, definitely not. South Africa is a very small country. It once used to be the powerhouse of Africa. It is given that rank to Nigeria quite a few years ago. South Africa is in the midst of a terrible infrastructure crisis. All state-owned enterprises are insolvent, and power cuts are daily occurrences, and industry and the economy are severely affected. South Africa does not have much leverage, neither in Africa nor in the rest of the world. So it is so that it stuck its neck out of the window. And South Africa is a very proud member of the new BRICS alliance: Brazil, Russia, India, and China, and now 6 other countries, including Saudi Arabia and the Emirates, have joined the BRICS. None of these BRICS member states have welcomed or joined South Africa's attempt to accuse Israel of genocide before the International Court of Justice.
All right, Professor Andre Thomashausen, UNISA Professor Emeritus of International Law. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.